back once again. I never get tired of that intro, and what a fantastic stage and venue they got for this whole setup. Once again, this is the LPL English coverage brought to you by Gosu Gamers and Games in Asia. Invictus Gaming and EDG squared off in a huge game that actually saw Invictus Gaming's first ever win over Edward Gaming, their rivals, and once again, this will be the second game, all for the circuit points. Will IG be taking a second victory here and remain undefeated in the summer split of LPL, or will their opponents knock them out of the undefeated slot and claim a victory out of this one? What do you think, Frost?
Well, history has already been made, so I would love to see Invictus Gaming take a 2-0 over EDG. Not that I don't love EDG, but this is pretty exciting to see kind of the return of the old guard IG.
Yeah, we have one more game coming up tonight, and I think these guys are really stoked here. Huge confidence booster to IG. It has been so long in coming that they've been able to finally take a game off of Edward Gaming. This could be a really big turnaround for them. I mean, this is a team that is very consistent, very good, but they've had this kryptonite in the form of Edward Gaming for a long time. And this game, they didn't look over the top better, but they clearly took better fights and had a better presence most of the game.
I'm going to give that game entirely to Kid. Obviously, the protection around Kid was fantastic, but I can't emphasize it enough. He has really stepped up to be the power play for his team and has carried Invictus Gaming in their last few matches there. Zatai has looked good, but not the best that he could have been.
Yeah, and strangely, too, on the side of Edward Gaming, the opposing AD carry, you know, we talked a lot about how he's extremely proficient at everything that he does, considered to be one of, if not the best AD carry in the world. Yet, he was making a lot of almost rookie mistakes, diving in, burning flashes to secure kills when the rest of the team was not quite with him. He left himself with no escape, and I think when you play a champion like Corki that has a lot of mobility, you get yourself into kind of a false sense of security sometimes, and that's definitely not going to help if the mentality doesn't really change for Name here.
I definitely don't think we'll see a repeat of that Corki pickup. It did not work very well for him. I expect we'll see either a Twitch or a Lucian come out of Nami this time around. Obviously, the team's switching sides, so first pick will be available to EDG this time around.
What do you think about picks and bans? I mean, you had a lot of effectiveness on Illusion's Jarvan, but that doesn't really strike me as something that's going to come up straight ban-worthy. What do you think EDG will take out of the pool this time? We've already seen one.
It's going to be, like I was going to say, LeBlanc, Cassidy, Braum. Oh, but it is going to be the Jarvan ban.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they don't want to... It almost feels like it's a spiteful thing. Or maybe a respect ban.
He did have a... You have to think that Illusion came up very big in the early game with his Jarvan performance. I feel like... I mean, the Pantheon nerfs are in. Illusion was very well known for his Pantheon play. I feel like he'll either look Kha'Zix here or Elise.
Yeah, last ban over in favor of Invictus Gaming. But what do they ban out to give EDG the first pickup? It's going to be Thresh. And that makes a lot of sense, too, because there's really no way Kitties is going to be able to pick that up.
The Jax is open, the Cassidy is open, and it is going to be a lock-in. Wow.
You wanted that very much. This does leave Syndra open, although Syndra not the safest pickup against Cassidy as well. I think we might see something like... Well, it's still 4-9. We might see an Italy play. Well, maybe not.
It made sense that they banned Yasuo and then picked Cassidy. I was going to say, if an Insolot Cassidy went in, it was probably going to be a Yasuo pickup for that mid lane, but unfortunately that's not an option. Illusion looking at the Lee Sin now.
And of course they are hovering over the Lulu. Now Lulu can go up against a Cassidy in the mid lane, however, it's very possible Yangsu will be taking that to the top as he's locked it in. And Zatai, we talk about how he has a gigantic champion pool. He should have quite a lot to be able to counter a Cassidy, if not picking up the Lulu. I wouldn't be surprised to see something really crazy like a Talon pickup.
I don't think he'll go... Actually, it is Zatai, so I can't count that out.
I mean, I know it sounds crazy now, but
I
bear with me.
feel like it's going to be Lulu mid again, just because Zatai was so effective on it, and I don't believe that Lulu is really in Yongsu's champion pool. So I feel like...
Gragas?
Yeah, I feel like this is a mid lane Lulu, but... Nami picking up the Kog'Maw.
Nami picks up the Kog'Maw, and now there's a Nami. So your worst nightmare is confirmed. FCZF playing Nami, and Name playing Kog'Maw, this game, this is definitely going to be a kite around the map for days kind of composition out of EDG. And whoa, the Corki, the reversals are real. No, he's not. Just kidding. It's Kid. He is kidding, and he's going to go for the Twitch. Or at least he's thinking about it.
I mean, he has a fantastic showing on the Corki as well. Again, we talk about how Kid is very much an AD or a Trinity Force AD carry.
Yes, Kitty's on the Sona pickup. I'm excited. I'm ready for some flash crescendos.
I actually don't really care for Kitty's performance on Sona.
Shh, let me have this moment, please.
But
right, last lock-ins.
Please be something good. That is not Frieza. For those of you who haven't watched LPL a lot, that is the Shyvana splash art, and that is not her final form.
Wait, we're not watching Dragon Ball Z?
Nope, unfortunately. I wish I was watching Dragon Ball Z. No, I wish I was here.
Oh. Whoa, shots fired. Okay. So it looks like they're waiting for the last moment to confirm the lock-in, but it will be Clear Love on that Kha'Zix. Koro going to be taking Shyvana into the top lane. And whoa, the insta-Zed lock-in from Zatai. I love this.
Okay, so that means that Yongsu is taking that Lulu into the top lane. If you haven't seen Zatai Zed, it is faker level YouTube Zed. This guy is crazy at this champion. It's fantastic, and I keep saying fantastic. It's really fun to watch.
Okay, so we had a lot of crazy picks last game, and a lot of good plays out of IG. But I feel like with the comp they're pulling out right now, it's almost like they were holding things in reserve. And now, coming off their first win ever over EDG, you got to think their confidence going into this game is at an all-time high. And I'm just really excited to see how this one works out for them.
Definitely morale is in their favor there. Zatai with that Zed pickup. He loves playing that champion. As far as Cassidy in the LPL, has not seen much success. I'm trying to think back to all the games if I've seen him win yet.
Pickups, right?
I've seen him win in LSPL, but I don't think he's won in LPL quite yet.
Yeah, well, again, Nami hasn't had too much luck, too, and, you know, we're seeing a high prevalence now. Not to take anything away from Kitties, he played it extremely well last time, but Nami just isn't utilized that effectively on a lot of other teams in the LPL, and, you know, there's two champions on the side of EDG that are sort of popular, but unmerited so.
Definitely, and now waiting for the players to load up. I hope there's no technical issues on their side anymore.
The players are so tired from all the pauses. They're letting out a big yawn there.
Last game of the day, though, IG versus EDG. Again, if IG walks away with this win, they continue to go undefeated.
And after losing, you know, 7-0 in all-time against Edward Gaming to go up 2-0 at the beginning of the LPL summer, this is going to be huge for them, not just confidence-wise. They're going to, like, seriously be bumped up. This is a hype train waiting to leave the station if they can pull this win off. And IG concentrating very intensely to make this one happen. I'm extremely excited. That Zatai Zed lock-in, you could tell, no hesitation. They knew exactly what they were doing.
I'm really curious to see how well you will pull off playing Cassidy. Not only because Cassidy, again, hasn't really seen much success in LPL, but we talk about how his champion pool was pretty much limited to utility mages last split, a lot of Lulu, a lot of Ziggs. He occasionally gets the assassin thrown to him, but we really haven't seen kind of what his potential is. He does say that he prefers to play the assassin style, obviously was catering to his team with his champion pool for the last split of LPL. So I think it's really eyes on him to see if he is the assassin player that he likes to be and if he can step up and hard carry this game.
Well, speaking of assassins, we all know Zatai really plays them quite well, and he's got definitely one in his pocket for this game, but Cassidy going to have a hard time against that Zed if they do regular lanes. Again, this entire thing smells very much of shenanigans, and I think Name, still very confident in his play, should be able to take a 2v2 should he choose to, but I think it's IG who initiates the lane swap this time.
Unfortunately for IG here, I definitely think you're right that the lane swap will be initiated because it's pretty much happened consistently every game. They have a top Lulu, and the issue with top Lulu is that she doesn't do well in this current meta at all. Lulu excels as a bully in the lane phase, so obviously she wants to be in that early lane phase so she can use her power, and obviously in a 2v0 that's not going to be a strong point for her. The other issue is that she doesn't jungle quite as effectively as the other top laners like Shyvana, Trundle, and Kayle do, even Jax. So this meta doesn't favor the top lane Lulu at all. I'm really unsure
it's
why.
gonna be a little weird.
why China continues to play it. Pretty much every other region except for SOAS has kind of given up on the top lane Lulu. They'll play it mid and that's about it. But China's like, no, top lane Lulu
we
Worlds.
can't do that, of course. Well, okay, so but here's the thing though. They've also put Youngsu on top lane Gragas more times than we can even really count. And you look at it this way, it almost seems like they're doing a CLG-esque thing where they're just kind of letting their new Korean players sort of just meat shield everything and draw a lot of aggro, and then just getting Kid really big.
But we are about to go onto the Rift. Again, this is the second game for Invictus Gaming versus EDG. EDG this time on the blue side, Invictus Gaming on the red side, and already... I just...
Wait, it's okay. It's done this time.
Straight into a pause. Please, no pause.
Please, Areno. Okay, so there we go. And if this lane swap does get initiated, I think this almost favors Lulu, though, just because Lulu has better wave clear away to prevent the tower from taking a lot of damage than Shyvana at level 1 through 3.
But I don't think that they'll be there to defend the tower. Effectively what this does is it pushes down the tower. It's almost like a 4VO meta, so it just opens up a free farm lane, just not as far back to the second tier tower like the 4VO meta did. Shyvana does that a lot better because she's a level dependent champion, whereas Lulu again wants that early bruiser phase, so I definitely think Shyvana has the upper hand here.
Fair enough. Playing very safely, but speaking of safe, that's not what the mid laners are doing. You already taking a bit of poke from Zatai, but he's returning it in kind. 2v1 lane swap does go down. Uh-oh, and we have disconnection. Here's the pause back once again. It was actually Youngsu that had some troubles.
And Youngsu disconnecting there in the mid lane with the double jungle buddy. You can see him right behind Lee Sin.
Yep, so the players have got to be frustrated by this. Like, oh man, another pause. What is going on today?
I feel like we've talked about this multiple times, it really interrupts the flow and the morale boost of the game. Like, the energy and the pace behind it, it's like, if you're in a sporting event and you just scored this amazing three-pointer, you just got this crazy goal, and you want to completely go back and just kind of back-to-back it, and you have the energy, you have the adrenaline, and completely cuts that out.
Yeah, and I don't know who this actually hurts more at this point, because Invictus Gaming is... you know, riding that emotional high of their first ever win over EDG. But at the same time, EDG on the back foot this time, unsure of what to do.
Zatai looks really upset.
Yeah, he's not happy. I think he's because he's out of that drink. Come on, man, I want another one.
Definitely being very vocal to whoever he's talking to.
Yeah, I'll sort the issues out on that end, but it has been frustrating. Frustrating day in China to try and make these things happen. We've had so much downtime due to the pauses, but you know what? There have been some absolutely phenomenal games. Not to take anything away from LGD or LGD. It is really early, and World Elite Academy. But this game, that first game, I cannot get over how insane that was. Down to the wire for 30 minutes, and then turns on a dime on a Baron fight. This is just the explosive power of these two teams. I really think that no matter what the results show at the end of the day, these are the two top teams in LPL right now, and OMG is a close third.
But
okay.
We are, thank you for clarifying, but we are back onto the Rift. Hopefully we stay this way. I hope we stay this way, oh god.
I do too. I think I might have actually lagged out on you too. Oh no, I'm going to hit my refresh button while you go ahead and take over for just a brief sec. But the laning has begun. A typical lane swap, nothing super unexpected from either of these teams.
But FCZF is getting pretty frisky with this blue buff. People are trying to move over to make a contestation here. This is Nami against the world, and is slightly winning out. Clearlove is now over in the mix, so...
Oh, Illusion though. He's diving in. Oh, he's going to dive back out. Doesn't go down, but he gets really close. It's a tie. Oh my goodness. He's not in a good spot. He's going to flash out of that one. Moving away. He's going to have to back. This level 1 going pretty crazy, but Name, got to be careful.
Taking a lot of damage there. It looks like EDG finally has the numbers advantage, though.
Oh, but never to count Kitty's out. There's a Q landing onto a lot of people. Music notes never hurt this bad before, but it looks like the blue buff will be smited away by Clearlove, so the successful invade. Meanwhile, Kid able to put some damage onto this turret and clear waves at the top before the teleport finally goes through, and Koro moves up to take his place in that lane. Name and FCZF uncontested pushing this bot, and there's going to be quite a lot of jungle buddying going on here in the mid lane.
A couple of things happen right there. I mean, obviously not the end of the world for Lee Sin to lose a blue buff there. Puts Krillov in a little bit of an advantage, getting more buffs, getting more experience for the start of the game. But the bigger thing is the fact that Kid has been left alone in that top lane with Koro, essentially free soaking EXP and farm.
Yeah, and if you're going to have any single member of your team, whoa, Zatai, he's actually taking a lot of poke away from you, but if you're going to have any single member really contest a lot against Shyvana, you might as well have it be a Twitch. This is a pretty good matchup for him, and this is why they've done this change-ups where Yangsu now has a support. So it's working out pretty well for them so far. There's a lot of poke on that bot side. They should be able to defend the turret despite Name's really good efforts to push it forward. The only issue right now is that Zatai can't really back, and he's pretty low. Transferred up to the mid lane, sorry.
It's fine. He should be able to back, though, pretty confidently. Kassadin doesn't have the best pushing power.
Not in the early game, no, and he's definitely being outfarmed a bit by Zatai in that one. Not quite outclassed, though, as he's been able to put a lot of hurt onto him as well. Name, unsure of what he really wants to do. He's definitely got a level advantage on Yangsu and Kitties, but that is still a pretty pokey bot lane side. And Zatai will finally find his window of opportunity to back Illusion. Since he didn't really get his blue buff start, has to find an alternative route through this jungle. He's going to be looking over to the mid lane. You by himself pushing it right now.
And the early back does go out from Koro. We'll see if he decides to burn his teleport to get back into the lane. Looks like he's actually going to walk, so he says, you know what, it's fine, kid. You can have the tower, take it down, open that free farm lane for me. I'll be patient.
You're going to go far, kid. And this is a really good move because he soaks up a lot more experience than Name, and when the two end up dueling, well, Name's not going to want to duel out against the Twitch at all, especially not Kid's Twitch. But he'll be happy pushing this tower by himself for the while. Kitties and Yangsu can't quite get within range. It's a tie trying to find an angle he can go in on him. And they trade poke, but you just seem to be getting the better of these poke wars.
The most recent changes to Kassadin have actually helped his, well, I should say the big change from Kassadin over from when he was pretty much perma-banned actually made his lane phase slightly stronger. So no surprise when he's facing a melee AD caster like Zed that he's able to kind of stand a little bit toe-to-toe.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill matchup, not so much a hard counter, but Zatai also loves these assassins, and I love to see this because we don't see it nearly enough. And Clearlove looking around the side to try and find a place where he can pounce onto Yangsu or Kitties, but they're staying nice and safe under tower range. And the exact opposite happening up in this top lane as Kid tries to deny as much farm as possible from Koro, doing a pretty good job of it. And, well, Koro's going to have kind of a rough early game, but Shyvana doesn't really need that too much. Zatai spending a couple of taunts on you in the mid lane. There's your Faker-esque moment.
He's an amazing Zed. I'm very excited for this. So we do see Clearlove kind of sneaky down, sneaky bug, looking for a possible gank. His target will be that Sona, definitely the squishy death here.
Yeah, they're going to try to FCZF, and Kitty's going to trade a bit, but there's a Lulu shield coming out. So Name trying to find a little bit more poke too, but he is actually following behind in farm, just because he's not really been able to follow up on it. Oop, teleport back up to the top, Koro.
An Illusion is in the area. I can't see them looking for a dive just because A, Kid doesn't have the wave, and B, Illusion is level 4, I believe, but Illusion is hanging up there.
Yeah, he's going to look for a pick if they can draw Shyvana out, but they don't want to commit too much. Meanwhile, you taking a lot of poke from Zatai in the middle. It just about evens out. Surprisingly, no, none of the junglers have really focused this, but now Clearlove comes in, proving me wrong. He doesn't have 6 yet. Can't go stealth, but he's going to get a jump on his Zatai, and there's a death mark coming in. He can't quite blow up you, and Zatai, get away. I don't know. The Ignite's ticking down, and he will fall. 7.5 minute first blood. Again, low kill count so far this game. I didn't realize it was 7.5 minutes, and it didn't even feel like I'm watching Chinese League.
The last tick on that Ignite got him. I thought for sure that the pot was going to save his life with like 2 HP, but unfortunately does go down. And since it is at the 7-minute mark, that's going to be the full 400 gold in favor of that Kassadin right there, instantly opening up with the armor.
Yeah, it could have been a really, really, really close call, though, because you got taken very low between the Ignite spent. Zatai tried his best to get that, and he nearly picked it off, which would have been completely worth for the dive in from Clearlove. But you comes out ahead on that one, and he does pick up the armor to deal with Zed. We'll give him a distinct advantage in lane, and we'll be expecting Illusion to try and give a little bit of help to his mid laner soon.
And we'll see what Yu is able to do with this early advantage that he has. Most of his gold actually went into defensive battle stats. Ooh, Illusion.
Here comes Illusion, though. That was a nice ward placement hop over, and he's going to flash forward, saving his kick. There he gets it off. Name's taking low. He's going to dive in. Name's not getting out of this one. Down he goes, and it's Yangsu taking the answer credit. Kathy in surprise. Last breath of that one is Yangsu Takes a bit of poke. FCZF cannot follow that one up, though. And it is a 1-to-1 kill score, dead even in gold.
I like the mechanical proficiency of Clearlove coming in there, realizing that Nami could dodge his Sonic Wave.
Uh-oh, Kid. Sorry to interrupt, but he's getting dove all the way in the tower. Oh, the flash away, and Clearlove's going to miss, but he flashes forward anyways. Diving under tower, Kid's going to go down. Koro tanking all the tower shots. A nice 1-2 punch from the side of Edward Gaming. This is going to get answered immediately by Zatai and the rest of the IG crew, taking the Dragon at 9 minutes. Well played to answer the kill in the top lane. One team does something, the other team answers right back. This has been such an on-point game. These teams are reading each other like a book.
You're exactly right. It effectively was Lee Sin shut into the bottom. That means we can gank top without any fear. They tower dive top. Obviously, Illusion reads, okay, Kha'Zix is top. That means Dragon is free, as well as this blue buff right now. So the reaction time for these teams, spot on.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's nothing that goes unanswered. Zatai going to pick up this blue buff. He'll be pretty happy about that one. And while Illusion hasn't been able to pay him too much attention in that direct lane, he's been helping out the rest of the team, and meaning that Clearlove really can't give as much attention to this mid lane as he would like to as well. 2-1 in favor of EDG, but the first Dragon of the game goes to IG, so the gold once again remains dead even in this. No towers taken either. Both teams doing a really good job at stalling this laning phase out.
And where the gold is going is actually fairly even across the teams as well. Of course, Kasten getting that first blood, Kha'Zix as well. Not a bad champion to have it on, although not necessarily the best across the line. Lulu has the only kill on the side of Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, and it's not the worst pickup as well, but not exactly who you want to get fed. So they've initiated the lane reset, so Kid going to go down under his tower here, but they're looking for the dive. This tower is really low. Kid has no idea. Kid, he's going to get blown up. The tidal wave's going to whiff. They don't even need to. He's going to be able to sneak away, and actually, Kid might actually get out of this one, but Name predicting it, slowing him down. The chase is on. No way he gets out of that. A tower, double kill, big power move, big power roam from EDG, and IG has no answer for this.
And this is what I was really curious about with you. Obviously, on his first back, getting that first blood expended his gold into defensive battle stats, and I was very curious if he was going to translate that, because typically Kassadins will kind of try to ramp into their Rod of Ages. Obviously, they're a very time-dependent champion for when they spike up, relying on that Roa to stack. If you was going to utilize the power of Kassadin's roam and get involved, I feel like a lot of time, especially from the last split, mid laners were so proficient in the 1v1, just because of the 4v0 split, that if this was going to translate well, and finally finding that mark.
Yep, so they do manage to get that one off at the end of the day. So they go up a couple more kills, and this opens up a pretty good advantage for EDG, but it can turn on a dime once again. Focusing their attentions to the mid lane now, Invictus Gaming have to be able to stop this push of you. He's going to start to hit a power spike here. Zatai get himself another blue buff, but he's going to try to dive forward on this one. Actually taking more damage than he's dishing out, and Fizif is on the outside. Oh my goodness, he gets ignited too. Now he's going to be able to finish this one off. He tries to turn around for the death mark. Nobody else is there to help him though, and Kitties shows up late to the party. Another death for Zatai, going a little too aggressive, and you got to wonder if he's becoming overconfident.
And you hadn't bought yet. That's the worst part about that. Zatai had already gone back and bought another set of items, so he had a distinct item advantage in that matchup. Look at that. You immediately goes back, picks up a needlessly large rod. So huge power spike from this Castan, and that's already 2-0-2.
He has no idea what's about to hit him. Big dives forward, gonna get his wild growth off, still staying alive in this one. The chase, they don't want it that bad. They're gonna back away from the tower. Nice defense. Youngsu simply too tanky to deal with, but it was a nice chase down, and they're gonna be able to push this wave just a little bit. Only Name is gonna be there to stay. Whoop, oh, back away, it's Kitties.
Gotta watch out for that Sona, Kitties. Very feisty one.
Yep, it is, you know, Sona may not be Kitty's best champion, but he's certainly a scary force to be reckoned with. I think Kitties is probably the unsung hero of Invictus Gaming. Well, maybe we've sung about him at this point, but you know what I mean. Standing next to Kid definitely has a way of making it not look quite so good. Up, FCZF going to spend that offensive Namiel. Youngsu now being targeted out. Clearlove going to go down. There's the crescendo. Illusion going to get a kill onto Clearlove. Youngsu still being focused out. You in the party now. Kitties putting damage back onto him, and they trade 1 for 1, but a bigger commitment from Edward Gaming.
6 kills in the game right now, and Yu has been involved with 5 of them. His Kassadin play is definitely showing that he does know how to play these assassins. Let's see if they can translate into a tower, but with Zatai's roam, everyone's going to back off, so did pick up the kills, aren't going to translate it into an objective. Gold lead still relatively close, 19k to 18k in favor of EDG.
Yeah, and you got to wonder now about this Zed pickup. He just really hasn't panned out for him quite as well. In all fairness, he was shut down a little bit early by the Kha'Zix gank. But, you know, Zatai, who is just known to be particularly dominant on assassin players, it seems really underwhelming that he's been having such a rough time here. You spiraled out of control of him, but mostly because of the fact that he's just been able to roam much more effectively and pick kills like that.
And I think the other issue here is we really don't know Yu's track record on Assassins. Yes, we know that Zatai is very fluent on those champions like Zed, and he has that history behind him, but we haven't seen Yu. He's a little bit of an enigma here, and so this is finally kind of the testing of the waters, and so far looks great.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by his non-utility mage play. And I think this is, again, this is something that Edward Gaming is really, really coming up with, that they no longer are tied into these specific stall at the game, late game situations. They can really put a lot of damage in the early game, as you see. This is a nice early lead for them. Yangsu trying to push Name and FCZF away. Will be able to do it successfully, but the Dragon is going to be up in 30 seconds. Everybody starting to think about that one right now. Another hot contested objective on the map, and IG really needs this to get a bit back in the gold department.
They do have a little bit of the advantage that EDG, kind of how they're postured around the map, is to the disadvantage. Obviously, having two members up in that top lane gives a numbers advantage to IG for the Dragon control.
Yeah, but Cassidy counts for like two people, right?
At this point, sitting 3-0 and 2 he does. Already has his Zanya's complete.
Here. They're going to catch Kid out in the middle of the pit. Kog'Maw's going to take that one down, and no, Kid is by himself right now. Going to pop a heal and a flash, trying to get away from this one. He's getting interrupted. Still alive, though. Illusion coming in for the party. There's a teleport from Yangsu, and it looks like they get the shutdown onto you. Turn it around just in time for the Dragon. All part of the plan for Invictus Gaming, but they got to do this quick. The rest of Edward are coming to the party.
EDG is scrambling to get into position here. Coral coming around into the pit, trying to start it.
There's the crescendo, and Nami is going to burn it ult defensively. Koro's going to fall in this one. Clearlove now being the target out. Zatai turning on the heat. Clearlove going to have to hop away from this one. 2 kills and a Dragon. Invictus Gaming right back in it, and they have a gold lead.
Fantastic turnaround on that Dragon. Good positioning by Kid. I think Koro got a little overzealous opening into the pit that early on. Was definitely burned for it.
Yep, and they're turning down for this tower right now as well. Name can't quite get there to push them away with the living artillery, and they're looking to dive onto him. Oh my goodness, Kid, using the bait. Kid is turning onto him as well, and they're going to dive forward for, oh, Kid, he's still alive, but he gets the kill, and they tried to keep him alive, but he can't quite do it. So they end up trading 80 carry for 80 carry. Illusion also falls on that one, so Edward Gaming claiming a minor victory in the kill department, but they do lose a tower. Not done yet. Koro chasing down Kitties, and they're just sort of paralleling each other for a minute. Kitty's trying to get in range so he can flash away. Nope, not going to be able to do it. Actually, flash was down.
It looks like the correct rotation. Zatai trying to hide his blue buff is that Kassadin is actually right underneath him, so very sneaky to take that away. It looked like the correct rotation from IG to pick up multiple global objectives in one fell swoop, but a fantastic collapse from EDG right there. We talk about how EDG looks like the best team fighting team in China right now, if not the world, and definitely showing it right there. Ooh, Clearlove, not estimating his red buff burn.
Yes, it was something it's kind of a mistake you don't make too many times, I suppose, after the first. But yeah, a little bit greedy on the part of IG after they managed to take the Dragon to try and push on the turret and then try to dive onto Nami before the turret was even gone. Yes, they got the kill, but then Kid gave himself up as well. Although they have held Nami killless this game. That is definitely worth note. Although Yu's doing a pretty good job of carrying.
Yeah, sitting on an unfortunate 0-2 and 3, rushing Trinity first instead of the Bork due to the fact that the map is so open. He's going to have to rely a lot on that Phage.
It really does speak to the adaptability, though, of EDG, that they're not leaning on the the star power of their AD carry. They're saying, hey, we have a fed Kassadin, why don't we just do that? And it's working out pretty well for them so far.
And I really like how Yu is kind of stepping up into this position, but we do see Illusion sneaking into the top lane behind Yangsu. Looking at Korra, Dragon Assistant is available.
I don't know why he's paying so much attention to this top. I guess it's probably the easy picking at this point, but Koro, not fooled by it, has to know Yangsu is being extremely aggressive and uncharacteristically so right now. Kha'Zix's coming up to try and even the score. Clearlove looking for the counter gank. They see Lee Sin, he reveals himself, so no surprises there. Everything all confirmed, and Koro playing an extremely safe game.
Definitely, I think it was a pretty telegraphed read, though, because Yangsu doesn't have the tower behind him, so to be that aggressive, he had to know that he was perfectly safe that far forward.
Yep, so they've been able to really predict each other's moves quite well. with the exception of like the snowball, whenever one team does something and then tries to get even more ahead with it, that seems to be when they burn by. Oh, Kid looking for Name, but FCZF is outside. I don't think he wants to take the 2v2, but maybe he does. Okay, there's the crescendo coming in, but answered back with the tidal wave. It's all going to be who gets the kill off first, and it looks like they're going to trade 1 for 1, but the first kill for Name goes down, and Kid goes down, which means the kill ends up going over to Kitties. Clearlove's not done, though. He's diving in. Here's the tie. Gonna turn around and sacrifice for Kitties. Well, he's gonna get blown up, popped. And Clearlove is ready to pick him off as well. Kitties way too squishy for this one. 3 kills for 1 at the end of the day. They're trying to answer in the top lane. Yongsu and Illusion turning for Koro. Can't quite find him on the edge. And it looks like IG slowly losing their grip on this game.
Slowly losing the grip on that Cassidy. 5-1 and 4 right now from you. Has his tier, so pretty late tier to come out of the gate, but is starting to get some decent stacks on that. Has the Zanya's already available, but the damage, I mean, it's not like he has a death cap or a void staff yet, but the burst is huge.
Yeah, that does speak volumes about the level advantage too. I mean, you look, he's up at least a level on just about everybody except Kid, and the reason Kid is so over-leveled right now is because he had all that early game to farm to himself and not share any XP. It's not really about the kills for anybody but you, and he's the only one in this game that's really an extremely scary threat right now. I mean, Name is good, Clearlove is good, but everyone's going to depend on sticking together to Roman. If you just shows up to the party, it's game over and IG scattering.
And again, with this map getting so far open, these towers dropping down, this really just makes Cassidy a stronger pick due to his mobility and his chase potential. Unfortunately, Invictus Gaming is really looking to Kid's Twitch right here to carry them through. But with a fed Cassidy, and we talk about your AD carry is only valuable when he's alive, and if you have a fed assassin on the other team, that's not going to be for long.
Yeah, I think their best hope right now for IG is to sort of put a lot of effort into trying to meet shield away and keep Cassidy as locked down as they can. The big problem is they have a bit of a time bomb in that Lee Sin is not going to be extremely useful for Illusion that much later on. I mean, it's only a 20-minute game, but they haven't been able to isolate targets very well. He did get a couple of kills, and he has been doing reasonably well, but he needs to get a lot tankier if he wants to start protecting this front line a lot better. They also have a lot of AD comparative to their AP, so this is not good for Kid as he might get shut down just because of armor.
I feel like the swing also is this Lulu pick. Yongsu obviously bringing the power and the survivability to Kid's Twitch, but unfortunately, he does speak Mandarin. He is a Korean player, so there's not necessarily a communication barrier as far as language, but brand new to the Invictus Gaming lineup. This isn't PDD. This isn't someone that they've known for a really long time on the team, and they're relying very heavily for him to show up.
Yeah, and putting him on anything but top lane Gragas, you know, that's just always a risk, right? Well, Dragon going to be about to be contested right now, but I think EDG has the clear positioning to take it. And the reason that IG don't want to go in on this, despite supposedly superior numbers, is that they just don't know where Yu is. Now they know. He's revealed himself. FCZF trading a little bit of poke with Satai, but when your support can duke it out with the mid laner, something has gone a little bit wrong in the game, and whoop, they tried to make a power move. Almost got caught on it, and the Dragon Dance commences. If
they get a good group here, this is actually a better place for IG to fight than in the middle. As long as they can get EDG grouped up on the Baron Pit and look for a crescendo, things might go their way. If they split up and have an extended fight through the jungle, they're going to lose.
Yeah, right now, they're just taking a little bit too much poke, and they'll be backing away after all said and done. This is going to give up the free Dragon over to Edward Gaming, so they will increase the gold lead just a little bit more. 3 towers to 1 at 22.5 minutes, 12 kills to 6, and the gold lead has been extended to about 3,000.
I wish I could do math too.
I wish I could do math as well, but it is unfortunately 6 a.m. where I live. that diminishes one's ability to add numbers together, supposedly.
Snap, it's already 8 a.m.
Oh wow, yeah, getting pretty early. So, Kid sneaking in, trying to find the pick onto Yu. Is he going to be able to do it, though? Comes out of stealth, pops the rat-a-tat-tat immediately, but he's just going to rift walk out of there. Yu just laughs it off. Half health, but he survives.
The bigger advantage here is that EDG is not really in a position to look for this tower, although there's no wards on the map, so IG is going to have to back off just because of lack of vision.
Yeah, pretty fantastic job by IG to actually continue to put pressure despite their gold and item deficit.
Trying to play
it's not so much of an item deficit anymore.
Trying to play the map effectively. I'm curious which Oh, I see what item he's going for here. I was looking at Zatai's build because he's got quite a few different pieces going for him right now.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not really sure what he wants to finish just yet, except for the Blade of the Rune King, right?
I was looking at the Cassidon.
Oh, excuse me.
If he wants to build Blade of the Rune King, I won't hold it against him.
Hey, you know, at this point, he probably could, but you, not quite going for that one. He probably will turn that.
He's looking for a Sereths.
Glacial, yeah. The Glacial Shroud will eventually become an Iceborne Gauntlet, but not before he does go for the Seraph's Embrace. And he's using his abilities quite frequently enough to do it. So clearly I'm going to steal away this red buff, and this is where EDG starts to be able to run the enemy jungle. They've got the secure early game. They're going to try and very slowly build up this lead, and then just take a crushing team fight that IG can't come back from. And IG has to answer this by taking a fight here and now, but they just can't get an angle on it.
It's so very dangerous for IG to fight EDG in jungles. You think of okay, so obviously the mobility of the Cassidon, but you also have the Dragon's Descent, you have the Nami Tidal Wave, and you have the Kog'Maw. All of those abilities, all of those champions can get through and around these walls. Twitch, Sona, very immobile champions. Obviously, Lulu brings a little bit of protection there. Zed can go through walls as well as Lee Sin, but the big carry here is Twitch. Fighting in the jungle, not what they want to do. They have to get a fight kind of out in these open mid lanes, preferably on a quick Zed crescendo burst.
It looked like they might have caught Clear Love off the side, but they didn't quite do it. Twitch going to go into stealth mode as he looks around for a target to pounce on. Not going to be able to find any, though, anywhere near his vicinity. Everyone's just kind of roaming with him. They are leaning extremely heavily on this. Oh, Illusion keeps finding himself in bad position, but he will safeguard to Kitties, be able to get away from this. And now it's a game of dodge the living artillery, but Kid's going to answer back with the Venom Cask. See if they can push the waves off this tower. It's starting to feel, though, like EDG starting to get a better advantage with every passing minute of this game.
Definitely starting to scale up. We do have Kog'Maw completing his Trinity and Bork, so a huge power spike. Twitch actually went the Shiv Bork route, focusing more onto the attack speed.
Yep. So he does have a pretty good amount of damage in crit, but he's got to be able to dish out the sustain. And whoa, the dive is coming in. They're going to find Yangsu, Yu, and Koro chasing all the way down to inhibitor turret, but Yu gets slowed down by the Glitter Lance, and they will settle for a second-tier turret. But that is going to bring their lead up to a 4-1 if they manage to pick that one out. And IG not even able to react to this, trying to chase down kills, baited in the mid lane. And they just seem sluggish compared to last game.
Definitely not foreseeing the correct rotations right there. I like the brute force EDG just made for that tower. And it's very hard to lock down EDG even with an immobile champion like Kog'Maw because of FZZF on that Nami. We talk about how great Nami's disengage is. Oh my god.
Oh, and Nami just melts him at the end of that one. Corrosive Acid eating through every little bit of the shadow armor. So, with the 5v4 now and a superior really pushing composition, they should be able to get these towers knocked down. What can IG do to answer this back? Their hard engage is there, but they're afraid to take fights, and rightly so. They just don't have the damage output.
They need to set up a crescendo with a rat-a-tat-tat. That's effectively what they need to do. And unfortunately, Kid needs to come in from the side, I feel like, almost. He could try to go and stand into the back, but it won't really protect him. I feel like Sona has to initiate the fight. The fight almost has to expend the first Rift Walk, and then Kid has to open up with the rat-a-tat-tat, because the cooldown won't be there to shut him down. Almost like how Eve has to come in from the side and do like a flank. I feel like that's where Twitch needs to position himself.
So what you're saying is they have to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time and then hit all their ults at the same time.
If you think about it, if they did like a front to back composition, like say Kid is standing in the very back of his team and the crescendo comes across, because of the distance, like his main target is Yu and Nami, obviously being the carries, not Nami, Name, that Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw's range is so incredibly long that front to back, he's already having to go the distance along his team, that he would then have to go along the distance of the enemy team to get to that back line with the rat-a-tat-tat, and he'd have to be like really far forward to reach them with it, and then he has to compete with Cassidon's Rift Walk.
Not exactly the easiest thing to do as well. So it's certainly a lot of conditions that really have to pan out in order for Invictus Gaming to really pull this one out. But, you know, I don't think Edward Gaming is really even going to try and give them the opportunity. They can just keep pushing around the map now, and there's really not much IG can do.
They can force them to fight at Baron. I feel like that's what they're going to do. I feel like they have no real interest in taking the Baron. Like, it would be a plus if they got it. But I feel like EDG is just looking to force IG to make a decision.
Yeah, so see if they do make that decision. But it's almost like the polar opposite of the later part of last game. So now,
Did your stream lag?
yeah, it did just a little bit. Please go ahead.
It was because a huge team fight just went down, and it is a 4-for-none trade in favor of EDG, catching people out. A fantastic tidal wave from FCZF knocks all of IG up, renders them useless, and U comes in and systematically deletes them all from the map, which means that this is going to be a free Baron. Zatai is left up, the only person available for a steal, but is nowhere near the pit, and this Baron is dropping very quickly.
Yeah, nicely done there. And oh man, I just watched the replay on the side. Wow. Oh, I'm so sad I missed it.
Well, the replay is going to come back up, and I can walk this through. Big key player here is going to be Koro and this tidal wave from FCZF. The safeguard comes over the wall, and we have all of IG's members except for Zatai in a nice little line. The Dragon's Descent back into the wave and then use damage on Kassadin comes across 3 members.
Yeah, so unfortunately now for IG with the Baron up EDG, this just makes a ridiculous pushing power team. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to come back from this one.
And with that Baroned up team, you're right, this is very steep to come back from. They do have good anti-siege in the form of Lulu, however. Kid also picking up that Shiv is going to help him be a little bit more effective in clearing the minions off of this tower, but against the siege composition of, I guess it's not a siege composition, but against the siege of Name and the dive potential of the Dragon Descent and Riftwalk, pretty terrifying to be on these towers.
Mm-hmm. And they've just been, I mean, even without the Baron, they've been able to push it forward for quite a while. So this is really going to just supercharge the entire thing. And this game, if they don't find an answer really quick, could end quite fast.
Coral actually having his Dragon Descent burned as the chase is on from Invictus Gaming. Got a little too overzealous, a little far forward without his team behind him. I think IG made the correct read on that, but is going to back away just fine. Let me know when you get back into the game. Oh, but Clearlove going in hard on Kid. Finds him pretty much alone. The tidal wave comes out, completely whiffs everyone. Everyone going to back off back to their corner of the map, but EDG now has the minion wave behind him looking up this mid lane. Approaching the tower is at 25% HP. Name, excuse me, just standing in the back. He's going to take that easily with his Kog'Maw W. The push looks like it might be continue up. Nope, looks like a rotation is going to be for the top lane. A big wave starting to pool there. The pings are going down, so Invictus Gaming recognizes what's going to happen. Tick-tock. Okay. Biggest thing here is that Yongsu is pretty much their most effective and safest wave clear. Not that Zed and Kid can't wave clear, but it's a little bit more dangerous for them to be that far forward. There's effectively no way that they can hold this tower, and if they die here, they'll come very close to losing the game because the pushing power of this Kog'Maw is out of control right now. The pings do go back down to the mid lane, so they get a free second tier top tower. Only the inhibitor towers are left standing for Invictus Gaming, so we'll see if EDG is able to utilize this Baron to make something bigger happen for them. Does look like they're going to go for the easier objectives, however, and clear out this blue buff.
Alright, looks like you are still a decent bit ahead of me, so I'm not going to really be able to call the play-by-play while that's all going on. Apologies once again for the stream quality, and I cannot wait for those Tournament Realm accounts to load up.
Hopefully we'll get them patched and ready for next week, because will be a big change of pace from this. We do see EDG pulling a little bit of a Fnatic maneuver here. They've actually... Oh, here they come. Clearlove over the wall. The Crescendo comes across 2 members, a big tidal wave that locks up most of IG here. They're all grouped up, and Koro is effectively on top of them. And the tower, however, is going to fall. Now the chase is on. There's 2 for Invictus Gaming down, just 1 on the side of EDG so far. It looks like everyone else is going to back off of this, but this is going to leave this tower effectively free and open, but the pings are actually going down for the creep wave that is collected up top. Youngsu trying to get in position to do something. Rift walks over the wall, trying to create a zone here. Kid stealthing back in, trying to line up, find a position.
Yeah, every one of these fights, though, it's just little by little, EDG poking away, poking away, poking away. It just seems like the inevitable is coming closer and closer.
And with that, EDG is going to pick up not just the inhibitor tower, but the first inhibitor of the game on that top tower. Not the most important one to go down. Typically, they would prefer to either have the mid one down because it grants the most passive map control, or the bot one, just so it can grant the most passive, or excuse me, pressure when the next Baron spawns. But another bit of a cheeky Fnatic move going here. Standing on a ward, however, but Kid getting caught out by Kulov. The huge burst damage is going to flash away and save his life. Now the shadows onto Name. I just don't even know the ability names.
Yeah, at this point, they've really got to take something absolutely perfect if they want to pick it up. And I don't think IG is really capable of doing it anymore. They're very, very afraid and hesitant to take these risks.
Yeah, unfortunately, IG just can't really stop the powerhouse that EDG has created. Now over a 10k gold advantage, actually 11k in their favor, 59-48.
Massive kill differential as well, and it's just starting to get worse and worse and worse. I think, hasn't it been like every team that's taken a first inhibitor has won today?
Last split, EDG had like a 96% chance. I actually have this statistic. Let me grab it really quick, because I just did the actual infographic for this. Okay, EDG...
Yeah, I know you know exactly it.
I know, right? I know this exact one, too. It's a 90% win rate when they get the first inhibitor. Obviously, this is the stats from last split, so very different this split because they've already traded 1-1 with at least both their games if they come back this game. Or, excuse me, both their sets.
So, okay, so that, you know, it's a little bit more even. It's a little bit heartening for IG, but still, this is a tough hole to crawl out of.
In all honesty, I don't really think that IG can get out of this hole. EDG is being incredibly methodical, clean, clear with what they're trying to do, taking down the towers. I mean, I think they've gotten, what, 4 global objectives with their Baron. The Baron now off is going to spawn in 50 seconds, but great use of that buff.
Yeah, I mean, they really, really pushed it to the limit. And went from, like, somewhat winning to all out. This is one dead inhibitor, other one's under pressure. IG afraid to even engage, and they can take another Baron for free practically at this point.
You are correct, and they are trying to set that up as they push onto this bottom inhibitor. However, going to get it just under half health and look like they're going to find Zatai out in the open. Oh! Yu finds him. He deletes him from the map, which leaves a 4-5 disadvantage to IG to defend this tower. And again, back the pressure onto that bot inhib tower. Name is going to take it down, but Yu goes in pretty deep, finding great damage onto Illusion there. The crescendo comes across, but it's not enough to really stall them. EDG pushing into Invictus Gaming relentlessly. Kid finally goes down. The rest of the members scrambling back to the base, trying to get it together, get their health bars up and back in to defend their inhibitor, but they are going to lose the second inhibitor of the game, the bottom one, which means when this Baron spawn comes up, they will not be in position to contest. EDG making the rotation now.
Catch up to you.
Oh, perfect. You can take over.
Here they go. They are on the last inhibitor of the game. This is do or die time for IG. They have got nothing left in the tank in there. One last desperate charge. Save the inhibitor so far, but it might fall to minions here. Clearlove turning around for Yongsu. Oh my goodness, this inhibitor is still up, but it almost seems like a moot point, and one more poke from Name will send it back to the next respawn timer. 3 inhibs down. Baron has got to be had for free here. They don't even need to take it, and they don't want to. Not just yet. They're going to actually send you and pretty much the rest of the team back, but this is just going to be one final push. Brute forcing up the middle, and EDG looking for revenge for last game, trying to keep their nearly flawless record alive against rivals Invictus Gaming.
So close yet so far. There is one inhibitor back up for Invictus Gaming, so kind of the light spot here is it'll alleviate some pressure from at least one lane, but unfortunately that bot lane still the major problem as this Baron is in play, and in fact we do see EDG starting to make the rotation towards Baron. Illusion smells it though, looking to go over for the ward.
He could try for the steal, and that would really help IG into stalling this game out and trying to hope for some crazy turnaround, but they're seeing this coming. Yu and Clearlove waiting in the bush like a pair of very... I don't know where I was going this one, but I was going to say something like carnivorous spiders, and I was thinking like of Australia or something. But that's not really what they are. They're just extremely, extremely fed assassins. Illusion trying to pick some farm up as he waits, but he's not in a good position either. They're looking to collapse on him as well. A couple of picks, that's all it's going to need to pick this one off. And they're just going to start the Baron up, realizing they haven't pulled anyone in just yet.
Invictus Gaming looking for a no-holds-barred, though. They've completely abandoned their base and are looking to fight.
Oh, this is going to be a bad move, though. Illusion taken extremely low, going to safeguard away. The teleport's coming through. It wasn't canceled by Youngsu. Baron actually being abandoned for the moment. And if IG want to go in on this one, now is the time. They're being zoned away, however, and they just don't feel confident to go in on this, and you've got to make these moves. Illusion being chased down. Big crescendo comes in. Clear Love is low. The initiation on the other side of the wave, though, as the tie goes down. Oh, my goodness, and everybody melts on the side of IG, but they're turning around to Koro. Oh, they can't quite finish him up. A bubble goes down. Koro going to get one more kill as well. There's nothing left in the tank for IG. It's a 3-for-2 trade. They don't need the Baron. Yu is still chasing on the kid. He's going to burn a flash, trying to pick him off. If he gets this, it's easily going to be game over, and he will be. The super minions are on the Nexus. It's going to fall down without anybody's help, and a 1-1 split goes last game to EDG, and our last game of the night here for LPL.
After a very promising game from IG to come out strong, completely dropped the ball of the second game. EDG dominating. I don't know if they were mad or what, but they held no mercy that second game.
They certainly got themselves a healthy dose of revenge there on Edward Gaming, and it will keep their record alive all-time at 8-1 against Invictus. But you got to think, Invictus Gaming definitely happy at that result, as they may not be undefeated, but they are still clearly a front runner for the LPL this season. I know it's very early to call, but definite IG hype train.
And I am on it front row and front seat.
Yeah, but not to take away from Edward, that was a fantastic second match, just absolutely crushing, where the first game was a lot closer, definitely more of an uphill battle. IG trying to keep their synergy strong and alive. EDG certainly has a lot of that, and it shows that they're not a one-trick pony anymore. They don't have to rely on Name to just be a god-tier AD carry. They've got you on Assassins, and he has made a huge statement for himself on that Kassadin.
And with that, that was the last game of the night. I know I'm tired, and Pyra, I can only assume that you're tired as well.
Oh, I'm never tired. You know when people normally sleep, I kind of just like wander around and write romance novels. That's sort of what I do. Anyways, we're going to end it over here for all of us at Gosu Gamers and Games in Asia. The LPL English stream is going to be done for now, but check back tomorrow starting at 1 a.m. Pacific, or of course, wherever you are in the world, it is 1600 China time. So guys, we will be back with more LPL coverage in about 24 hours, or about 18 hours from now, I suppose, maybe 20. I can't do math anymore. I am that brain dead. But guys, it's been fantastic. Froskerin, I am very happy to have casted this long set with you. And thank you much for sticking through the technical difficulties that we encountered.
I think that was one of the longest sets I've ever casted. That was a good, like, 9 hours of casting.
That was pretty amazing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to speak in the next couple of days. We'll see how it goes. But hey, that's it for us, guys. You can, of course, follow Froskerin at LOL Froskerin. I am Pyrotechnics at Pyrotechnics. We have all the information on Reddit, on Twitter, on everything, and this is my jam. I'm going to rock out, but from all of us, we will see you next time. GG and good night.